Nokia is really trying to stage a comeback over the last year or so, but with their latest flagship smartphone, they have the attention of a lot of people, if only because of that very interesting back design. However, with 5 cameras on the back, there is plenty more about this phone to like. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let's go ahead and unbox and give some first impressions on the Nokia 9 Pure View. The last time I unboxed a Nokia device, it had Windows on it. That's how far back my history with Nokia goes, and clearly now Nokia has a whole new era of smartphones ahead of them, so it starts with this one. Just went on sale. I actually picked this up from Best Buy, and clearly it's not a Windows device, it has Android, and even better, it is Android One. I had thought that the packaging was going to be a little bit different. I'm used to other smartphone manufacturers making them like all black or maybe just one color, but in this case we have an actual graphic up front, some sort of like stock photo. It's this handshake, which is I guess kind of a cool symbol, but I think the back of this phone would have been a little more eye-catching to people who might be looking at this box inside of a glass case. In any case, let's take a look at what is on the back of the box. All of the specifications. You're getting everything that you could ask for here, minus the top of the line Snapdragon processor. This is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, but we all know that that is a great processor. We know that the power is going to be there when we need it, on top of the 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of onboard storage. Now, of course, like I said, the cameras, that's being showcased here. 5 camera fusion, pure view with Zeiss optics. There's actually a 20 megapixel front camera also, but of course, that penta shape on the back is something that you really notice right off the bat. And that's what we're going to find out as we open up this box. If you look at unboxings I've done for Pocket Now, Jaime is always really surprised that I don't need a knife of some sort. I just try to find the way to get the tape off, like right now. It's got all of that void writing on it once you take off the tape. Oh, I guess that's par for the course. So we have a pretty simple unboxing experience here. I was actually really excited to unbox the Nokia, thinking there would be some extra bits and pieces, maybe something different from what we expect from the other manufacturers. After all, Nokia is trying to make a comeback, so how are things different this time? Well, we'll start off with this box here on the left, which probably holds all of the charging bits and pieces, maybe the documentation. It feels like it's all in here, so let's go and open that up. Let's start off with the charging cable. USB-A to USB-C. I don't think there's any special branding on these headphones, but I'll take a closer look in a second. For now, let me just undo the plastic wrap around it. What I find interesting is that these are really trying to be those canal earphones, the inner earbuds, and that's great. Usually the sound from those can be pretty decent, if not above average, and they have these bullet sort of designs to them. That acute angle is really interesting here. There's a headphone adapter in here. Some of the manufacturers are starting to get wise and put in USB-C earbuds, but of course that's not the case here. I guess what we're going to do here is just connect this adapter to the headphones so that I never lose these. There's kind of a rounded out design with this power adapter, but I love the Nokia branding. That's great. It is a USB-A charger, so it's not going to have power delivery from C to C, for example. Actually, the box for the documentation is much larger than the documentation itself. Just gonna go ahead and put that back in there. I'm going to use that SIM tool, of course, to put probably my Google Fi card in here. I think Android One and Google Fi are going to be a pretty good duo here, so let's go ahead and get this phone powered up and started. I suppose I could have slid the phone out of the plastic. Sorry, that wasn't quite as awesome as I had hoped, but now that the plastic is off, look at just how well this phone shines. Wow, that looks really appealing. Okay, so I got the Sapphire Blue edition. It's glass on glass, super shiny. The Penta array is up here, of course. It almost looks like you're putting a hex on the phone, kind of performing a seance of sorts. But yeah, look at that. That just looks really nice. Yes. Android One. This is going to be great. My first foray into Android One, a simplistic version of Android, basically the purest version of Android that you can ask for, and it's an easy way of keeping the phone as simple as possible as far as software is concerned. Ooh, classic sound. After all of the phones that were announced at MWC, it's great to see a phone actually make it to the US out of all of the ones that were announced. And yeah, the Nokia 9 PureView is probably going to be one of the most exciting ones, mainly because of its camera array. This This is just too awesome to look at. It's weird, it's interesting, it really kind of reels you in, it makes you want to see what the camera is like, and that's the reason why I even picked this up today. I wasn't even planning on it, but then when I found out that all of the stores were starting to stock them, I had to see if one of them near me had it, and sure enough it did. Okay, so we have the under display fingerprint sensor. It's right around there. So let's go ahead and get that set up. Start with this one. Try pressing a little harder. Okay, there you go. Oof, you have to press pretty hard to get this thing to consistently scan. A bit of a thumb workout, this one. Just really got pressed down hard. Now, one thing I really enjoyed about the setup was that it made it very clear this is a phone made for stills photography. There's one screen during the setup, right after you get the fingerprint reader set up, that says passionate about photography. Download Adobe Photoshop Lightroom CC from the Google Play Store now. And so, there you have it. The Nokia 9 PureView is out of its box and ready for testing. The Sapphire Blue edition does get fingerprints pretty easily. I already have to clean this up a little bit, but it's still a great looking device. It's actually a little bit wider than what I'm used to from other 18:9 devices, but this particular screen already looks pretty great. It's a POLED, and I'm excited to try out not only all of the features in Android One, but of course the camera. That is the main story here. It's good to see that video hasn't really gone by the wayside here. This is going to be a big stills camera, but you still get 4K recording not only on the rear, but also on the front. However, in the camera app, which I've already looked at a little bit, you have the dedicated bokeh and monochrome modes. After all, a couple of the sensors on the back are supposed to help not only with the soft backgrounds in bokeh mode, but also for monochrome photos if you want to get a little artsy with some black and white photography. So with that said, I'm going to call it on this one. Get into the comment sections and let me know what you want to see out of this. I am going to take it out for a full photo day at some point just to see what the photography is like, and perhaps I'll do a video on that as well, just sharing my experience. But you can subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell over on the side so you know exactly when the video comes out. I might do a premiere for this one actually, and then from there you can just drop some likes on my videos, continue the discussion in the comment sections, and from there I'm just going to call it on this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll just remind you to enjoy your tea, everybody.